What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy. Had that strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, awesome. All right, everybody. So real quick background here. December 28th, I had a vision of an attack, a gunman basically in a crowd getting ready to shoot. We're going to explain more about that in this background just a little bit. And just the detail of how God gave it to me with the words that followed with that vision that also applied to a situation. So we're going to get into all that in this background real quick. So the December 28th vision I had basically involved a gunman in a crowd. And I had to listen to this a couple of times, right? So the Lord basically was showing me people looking at this screen. So I was like, okay, this has to mean like a New Year's Eve party or something like that for them to be looking at a screen and for something to follow up with a shooting. So I didn't know where or when this would happen, where it would happen. You know, I didn't necessarily know the details of this situation, but I was seeing it. And one of the details I noticed was the Lord was showing me it was a man. So I'm like, okay. Now with these protests going on, a lot of people probably expect, oh, it's going to be in this big place, but the enemy can do things in more than just a super big place. Knowing that these protests caught people's attention, the enemy is one for distraction, and he knows and loves to distract people from other things that might occur or go on, right? So this stuff could happen anywhere, but yeah, I'm in LA, downtown, a shooting occurred at a New Year's Eve party, and I'm like, wow, well, there you go. And what really did it for me when the Lord led me to this, because I didn't know this happened. It was so much going on. I'm like, God, wait, what were you talking about? The way they described the situation with the man with the gun and people were screaming, and then one of the Uber drivers said a woman was on the ground and she had been hit, and I heard a woman screaming in the dream. So it was just a lot going on and some similarities there, right? In a form of symbolism, in the vision I explained, I seen like an object hit glass, like the screen that caused the glass to break. But that was just symbolism for celebration ruined, is what I learned. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And the thing is, the man's identity wasn't even really given. So I don't even think people really knew who the man was that was seeing what was going on per se. Just like the thief, like you just don't know where they come from. Nobody would see it coming. People really didn't notice this person in the background. The thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and a lot of people don't understand what's going on. So here's where the evacuation part comes in, because number 2, the Lord said, you will see an evacuation. Then he said it 3 times, evacuation, evacuation, evacuation. Now, I'm like, okay, does that apply to the situation? You know? Because he said it before and after the vision. So I'm like, okay. Come to find out, the very same day, Japan had an earthquake, a big one, and it triggered tsunami warnings, which led to evacuation warnings. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, I see it. Evacuation headline. Either you was going to see an evacuation or you was going to see a headline. So the Lord gave me a 2-in-1, which was very interesting. And this is why I always say we got to like really listen to what God is saying and how he gives it, because detail is so important with the Lord. And I've come to learn that over my time in learning as a messenger myself. But yeah, that's the background. Now I'm going to give you the prior word and on to the events. Peace and blessings, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Real quick, straight to the point vision. I'm just kind of sitting here. And then I see this big screen, and I see people looking at this big screen. God is kind of showing me again. And I see people screaming, and I can hear people screaming, okay? Like people screaming, like a woman is screaming. Then I saw something crash into this big screen, like glass just shattered from whatever this object crashed into. So then, as it's like slow motion in the vision, God tends to slow it down for me. So I see all these people around me, and I look to my left, and I see this man in all black holding a gun. So that really symbolizes the enemy. Satan wears all black too, so that was symbolism for me. But he had like a robber mask on, but I could still see his smiles and his facial expressions. So I was like, that ain't nothing but a demon. So I look over to my left, and he smiles at me with this gun in his hand, and nobody in the crowd sees him. So that's symbolism, like people don't see what's happening. They can't really see what's going on in the spirit, but I'm seeing this as these people are standing here, watching this screen. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what God is trying to tell me with this. Then basically I hear gunshots. So this is what the Lord told me and kept telling me all day. And I've been seeing cop cars. I saw an ambulance. Every time I see that, something goes on, okay? The Lord says, you will see an evacuation. And he said it 3 times, an evacuation, an evacuation, an evacuation. So I don't know what the Lord means by what that evacuation might be. I don't want nobody assuming nothing, okay? We got to just pray, stay focused on what God is telling us to do, and be ready, because even though it sounds like judgment and it's not for us, that's the vision I saw. And y'all know how quick things kind of come through. So I'm like, what is going on here? An evacuation sounds like something emergency wise that happens, right? Gunshots, something of the enemy doing something to stir up problems, trouble, fear, chaos, right? And it's within a grouping of people. So that's what I saw, okay? That's all I'm gonna say here. Peace and blessings.
Police are working to get to the bottom of what they're calling a complex crime scene after 2 people were shot and killed at a New Year's Eve gathering.
NBC4's Bailey Miller is live in downtown LA where all of this unfolded. Bailey.
Hey, good morning. So what we know right now is 2 people were killed, 8 others transported to the hospital at this New Year's Eve gathering or party. Take a look behind me. This investigation has been going on since it all happened at 1 a.m. It all happened, like I said, before 1 a.m. here at Porter and Olympic in downtown LA at what police were saying is a warehouse. And this was a New Year's Eve gathering and party. No word from investigators if this was a planned or illegal gathering. According to LAPD, the 2 people that were killed are a man and a woman in their 20s. Now, we caught up with one man, an Uber driver, who says he was dropping off his passengers when all of this unfolded. Take a listen.
So, you know, I see a man with a gun start opening fire, just rapid, and it's probably within, 20 yards. And there's shell casings flying. People are starting to scatter, and the passengers leave my car. I'm in the front seat, and I just duck. I kind of just cradle as I'm hearing all the gunfire. Then I hear, automatic gunfire, like a and I see a girl, maybe like right where you're standing, struggling to stand up. And I'm like, oh, she got hit.
I mean, I just spoke with him moments ago, and clearly he was shaken up by this. I mean, just to witness all of that. He says he heard gunfire going on for about 7 to 8 seconds. He said officers arrived very shortly after that, and then he was able to go home. Now he's back here at the scene, making sure police know his story. Now, as of right now, though, from police, no suspect information has been given, as LAPD says they are in the investigation stage. Right now, they say they're looking at surveillance video, trying to piece together exactly what happened, and they're calling on any
still a large police presence on the scene of some breaking news we've been following all morning in downtown LA.
Yeah, that's where at least 2 people have been shot and killed at a New Year's Eve party. And NBC4's Bailey Miller is live where she just heard from investigators. Bailey, what are they saying?
Just a moment ago, investigators did give us an update. Now, we know right now 2 people were killed. They did tell us 8 people were transported to the hospital. So that's a little bit more than we had originally heard. So we know 8 people have been transported to the hospital. That's the big update right now. Right now, they say they are in investigation mode. They were not able to confirm with us if they are looking for any suspects at this time as they still work to piece this together. Right now, let me show you the scene here. You can see still quite active as LAPD officers have blocked off these couple of streets here as they continue to work and piece together what happened. Now, we did hear from witnesses. Take a listen to what they had to say about this very scary scene.
It was like people were running, like it was just running, people falling. Like it's just hard to see because it was just so graphic.
Breaking news this morning out of Japan. The country has issued tsunami alerts and ordered evacuations following a series of earthquakes. There have been more than a dozen quakes, one of them with a preliminary magnitude of 7.6. They started a fire and trapped people under rubble on the west coast of its main island. Japanese officials warning that water could reach as high as 16 feet and urged people to get to high land or the top of a nearby building as quickly as possible. We will continue to follow this and let you know of any new developments.
Just to bring you up to date with the breaking news that we've had this morning, that in the last hour, a very powerful earthquake has struck central Japan, prompting a major tsunami warning. The 7.6 magnitude quake hit the Noto Peninsula, close to the town of Anamizu. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has urged people in coastal areas to evacuate immediately and to move to higher ground as further earthquakes are expected in the coming hours. So these pictures that we can show you right now are the latest ones that have been coming in to us on social media. So these are not